Welcome to this here thriving moment, brought to you by the Sovereign Light Radio Broadcast Anchor FM, and made also available on 6 other different platform distributions. Live from North York, Ontario, Canada, I am your hostess, Reverend Maria Arvanti, and right out of Hampton, New Brunswick, Canada, our very special guest with us here today, Anita, Lucia, Briggs. Welcome. How are you today, my friend?
Good. Very good, thanks.
Folks, for those of you who don't know who Anita Lucia Briggs is, she was born in Montreal, Quebec, to an immigrant family from Holland. She was raised into a French-speaking school system until the age of 12, and then moved to Toronto. Continued with French-speaking public schooling all the way through high school in North York. In 1976, studied science, honors, mathematics, and computer science at the University of Toronto, and graduated with a Master's of Science in 1983. From there, Anita started working at IT and became a mother of 3 children. She moved to New Brunswick in 1999, where her inner work and self-healing started taking place. From 1999 to 2009, had studied many alternative modalities, such as German New Medicine, energy psychology, EFT, TAT, and the Sedona method. In 2002, she had opened up and from the power of her inner psyche, reinvented herself, working as a psychotherapist counselor. At 2003, graduate from the Institute of Holistic Studies, and in 2003 to 4, studied deep emotional clearing techniques as a rapid eye technician. A 2006 graduate from the International College of Natural Health and Traditional Chinese Medicine in Whitby, Ontario. And after 4 years of studying the limitations of others in other students who trained healing modalities, in training healing modalities, Anita had created her own healing modality and tools under the name of Inner Mastery Tools. From her successful raising of her 3 children, who are now grown and well into their 20s, to her spiritual mastery, the work got more and more intense, deeper exploration of the astral realms and the impact to humanity. Anita's cataclysmic experience in 2012 had caused her to question all her work. From previous, and from it, her life has never been the same again. From what was there and previously possible, continued on her studies into acupuncture, and as she knew, the meridians held big clues. She was on a quest to find the higher hormones that would cause our bodies to be vehicles of high manifestation. Anita's deeply immersed work has come into confluence and clarity to support the great awakening and transition from the dream of separation into the true dream of the infinite. Want to learn about the metaphysics of emotional alchemy into a new awareness, or how to tap into perpetual regeneration of embodiment in a fluid vehicle that supports life ever anew? With Anita's higher ground learning and effective evolutionary healing as a practitioner can to help support in your awakening to what is possible. Here to answer us on what is alchemy and how do we live our life in full embodiment of our highest potential. Anita, Lucia, Briggs on this here segment, the alchemy of full embodied potential.
That's a mouthful. Yeah, that
Oh, where to begin? Where to
takes me
begin?
back to, oh my God, my whole childhood. Yeah, so I guess I'll just start with explaining what my whole quest has been in life. Um, Essentially, I realize in hindsight that I have been seeking the way to slip out of the matrix all my life. So I never thought that I was in a real reality since a child. So I got my quest for higher hormones started actually in 2004. I have no idea how I knew this, but I actually knew that we were secreting the wrong hormones, if you will, and I knew as well that hormones determine the reality that you tune into. So change your hormones and you change the reality that you tap into. Now, it has since expanded to um, secrete the much higher hormones, and you create the reality that you live in. So that's another step. So essentially, in my healing journey, I realized that I that I had to that the answer of higher hormones actually lay in the eight extraordinary channels. So I studied acupuncture. I actually practiced it for 4 years, but my whole interest was in understanding those flows of source, which are also called the strange flows or the unfathomable flows. And I didn't really find any answers in my training. However, I learned the lingo, so it helped me to grasp how the body, the energetic body, operated. So in searching for higher hormones, in understanding that I was trapped in a matrix, I went more and more into the depth of how the matrix was and well, what happened in it and everything, and it led me to exploring the astral realms with a colleague at the time who had very clear sight in the astral realms. I got kind of have a knowing, but I don't have that sight. So we got kind of worked together, and we essentially saw a lot of unbelievable mess in the astral realms. And so we got tried to help clear things and everything. Anyways, essentially we were battling the matrix for years and years, and that culminated in 2012, where my whole life blew up. And I won't go into how, but absolutely everything. So and I found out later, working with Almeen, that whatever you battle, you strengthen. Whatever you battle, what you oppose actually comes at you. So that's what happened and got caused things to blow up. But so essentially, that year where everything was shattered, everything was in question, I discovered a process that I taught in 2012, and it was 3 centers alignment. What actually kept me sane that year was I would pause when I was in fear or anxiety or things were chaotic. I would pause and I would align head, heart, and gut in a certain way where I would find a place of peace in me. And it startled me when I found that place of a deep, peaceful presence, because nothing in my reality had changed. And I thought, what is that? What is that part of me that is completely at peace and unperturbed when everything around me is in chaos and threatening and hostile and all of this? So I realized as I explored it more that in this 3 centers alignment, when you enter into a place beyond time, there opens a 4th portal that is the opening to the eternal self. So that was the first clue on how to slip out of the matrix. It's not to go battle it, is you find the way through it. Through it, then you're outside of it, and then you master the tools that were tyrants in while you were trapped. So I got taught that for a year. The year after, I met Almeen, and at my first private retreat, she was just receiving the info on the 12 ordinary channels, and the secrets of the emotions, and it blew me away. And then I asked her after day 1, but Almeen, you're talking about the 12 ordinaries. What about the 8 extraordinaries? And she said, oh, what are they? And so I got told her they're the strange flows, the flows of source, their cause, and all of this. Anyways, that night, she apparently received a whole teaching on it. And in the morning, she said, oh, Anita, in answer to your question, and she poured out all of this incredible info on the 8 extraordinaries that I'd never learned anywhere, that is just brand new. And that's when I realized Almeen is my teacher. She's for real. So, but she also explained that when you get battle the matrix, it gets stronger. So the way is to find how to transcend it. So this 3 centers alignment with the 4th portal activating is the way to start the transcendence. But I've been studying her work since 2013, nonstop, and I've been putting the roots under a lot of her teachings, connecting the dots through her work, and there is revealed now how to, and I'll use the terms that many light workers use, how to operate out of 5D, which really is infinite dimensions. But essentially, when you're caught in the matrix, you're operating out of 3 dimensions. 3 points create a space, but it's a flat space. So you're actually in flatland. When you're in the matrix, anything that moves off of your triangle, you deny. You don't see it, or you edit it out, and so you're missing a huge part of reality that happens in inner space. So you're actually, in terms of the masculine and feminine, you're operating out of the masculine known, and you're ignoring the feminine, which is the place of eternity. And when you interleave the masculine and the feminine, what happens is between the moments of expression, you sink into eternity where everything is renewed. So the secret of regeneration or rejuvenation is actually merging the masculine and feminine so that your life is ever new in each moment. So there's a whole metaphysics of and a precise understanding of how the body evolves out of 3D to 5D. And when you're actually outside of that flatland, what happens is that triangulated space of what we see in outer life actually becomes the virtual reality screen that is your playground to express the dreams of your heart in. So, and no longer is it a matrix that jerks you around. It's actually your playground. It's your canvas to paint a life as a work of art. So that's where my teachings actually lead you from the matrix where you're got caught up in lower emotions and you're feeding and the unreal to emotional alchemy that enables you to lift yourself up and then ever deeper layers to evolving the what I call the body and the fluid geometry of wholeness. And when you operate out of wholeness, then there is nothing that is excluded from your expression, which means you impact everything. So you're not only changing your reality, but you're changing reality itself. And so there are the levels of co-creative power that you get into to the place where you are the emanator of a new time space. And then you're actually operating at a quantum level where just like a quantum machine, it isn't binary anymore. It's not on off. You have the 0, the 1, and you have the state of 0 and 1 simultaneously. So you are the quantum creator that is the bridge between outer and inner reality.
Oh, and I love this.
That's
I love this. Sorry.
That's how you always regenerate. So,
sorry. When you're saying this algorithmically, I'm thinking of also the synthetic, recreated version, the inverted version that a lot of us kind of, when we don't have masters and teachers, learn from that inverted way.
Right.
I'm talking about artificial intelligence.
Right. Exactly. And if mankind stays on flat land, that flat triangle, they will get sucked into AI, and the triangulated space of 3D was actually part of the plan. It was for us to explore what we are not, to explore us in limitation, and then we would push the boundaries more and more and realize that those boundaries move. They're not, yeah. And then we start exploring who we are. So it would have been a natural process had these shadow beings not captured the triangulation. So how they got captured it. So if you look at the triangle as spirit, soul, and body, how they got captured it was through religion, through the secret government, and through hijacking the financial system and stealing the innocence of the children. So that the reality that we're seeing that is falling apart and being exposed as lies is actually a black magic reality where the plan was to hack into the human DNA, hack the system and create a lower human animal that is enslaved. And it's incredible to witness how close they were or how it's all falling apart. I mean, it's just mind blowing.
Well, some of us, including this wise woman that you speak of, had to learn from somewhere. And then, okay, so let's talk about this, because you were saying about how you actually needed partnership, uh, this partnership to help you as a seer, to help you see.
No, I'm not a seer. The the only seer that I know is Almeen.
Right. So you partnered up with this wise woman who is a
Somebody,
seer.
no, no, no. I partnered up with a colleague who was able to see in the astral realms. Not a seer, but he could see in the astral realms. I had a knowing, and then to have him see what I was knowing helped to interpret. But we were interpreting the captured reality. So we were seeing all of the shadow stuff that was happening in the captured reality. Okay. So we actually had a precursor sight of what is happening, what is playing out on the world stage play now.
So you went to the next level. You went to the next level with this wise woman who's also very wise in business too. Obviously, her company is limited liability company.
Who are you speaking about? You mean Almeen?
Well, when you get to a certain level, we shed off the names, the identities, and whatever identities and names we have for ourselves. They become a legal entity, which is very wise on its own there. And she has many companies off of that and in partnership, LLC, which I love. Totally, I'm going to inquire more about that to see how it can enhance my businesses as well. As far as the legal name is concerned, yes, it's a group of connecting souls, for those of you who don't know, that fed off this great seer's insight and mystical teachings. She's a spiritual master and baroness who's named her company after her second daughter called Almeen. From there on, Anita's devotion to her master was recognized and rewarded through initiation as one of the 5 placeholders worldwide to hold the ruins of the Infinite Mother. Can you maybe expand more on that?
Okay, so the runes are actually they're a system of divination and enlightenment, and they actually match the 12 ordinaries. So it's on 12 fields of existence, and there are 96 runes on each field, and the 12. It's 12 times 8, so you have the 8 extraordinary channels working through the 12 in these sets of the 12 runes. So it's a system of a profound, um, not only enlightenment, but it merges frequency with light. So every rune has a sigil that is a non cognitive activation, and then it also has an insight, which is the cognitive. So it helps you you use it for spreads and guidance and all of this. It helps you to merge the feminine with the masculine. It helps you to be the bridge of the two realities. So yeah, it's a very powerful system, and actually having the runes on Earth has changed Earth evolution. So it could change the timelines. It averted cataclysm, cataclysmic events, and so on. So yeah, I could teach the runes. My colleague in Holland and me, we created an app. So there's this incredible app to do the rune spreads and activations and so on. So I could teach it to those who use it with clients or for personal use, and it's all on an app, so it's
So
quite
how
handy.
can people find this? Can they go on? Is it a Facebook group or is it?
No, it's all through websites and yeah, I don't advertise or market, so it's all word of mouth and yeah, just I could trust that whoever needs to will go find me. But yeah, marketing is not my thing, and my work is really I've found that it's not necessarily for the masses, but where I open the work up the most for is in private sessions. I
Okay.
love working privately. Yeah, and that's where a lot of the teachings are then they got translate into action, right? Action and shifts and all of that. Yeah.
So how would you go about this platform and application, like you said? But
That app well, there is a platform, and it's the anutiama.net, and that's where we have all of our apps. So there's the Rune app. There is also a Kivesta app, which is a body of yeah,
oh, you're the dean of the Kivesta,
yeah,
meaning the breath of the divine. Yes.
right, right, and that is a system to turn the body crystalline, and there's a profound mastery path with it that brings you into go oneness, and it's also a guidance system, and you can be a practitioner of it. There's a beautiful process to do with clients that is absolutely incredible.
No, what comes to mind is energy is your currency. This is the real currency of our economy. Not the other inverted enslavement one.
Hmm.
And
Right.
yes. hmm And so,
Yes.
do you also have like a digital method of this Kivesta?
Yeah. Yeah. It's also on an app, and I teach or mentor people through it. And then there's actually another app, and it's called the Divinity Quest. That one is so if you think of the Kivesta of oneness is like the feminine inner space. So you're mastering your eternal self. The runes are the bridge, and the Divinity Quest is your expression as an individuation. So there are three systems of divination and enlightenment, and that as well we have as an app, and there are things to do with clients or personal, and it's a beautiful system as well.
What's that? Really, sorry, what was that called again? Would you be able to spell it for me where people can connect to these apps?
Okay, it's Anutiama, ANUTIAMA.net, NET.
Oh, great, great. Okay, because that's one thread I do not have. And whatever other connections that I have of you, I am going to post them wherever the description box might find you folks, whether it be on any social media platform that you see this interaction. And you also have this thing called Belva Spata and Ruin Grandmaster. You teach these modalities. So the Belva Spata part of it is also in what do you call it, merging with the Ruin Grandmaster, or how does that go?
No. That's actually a healing method. So it's healing with the angel gods, and there's all levels of healing the emotions and the body and DNA activation and all kinds of things. There's protocols for heart disease, for cancer, for addictions, for all manner of things. And there's a mastery program and grand mastery. And once you have those levels, then you can use it on clients.
And this is to do with emotional alchemy, is it?
No, but there actually is a protocol for clearing emotions. No, the emotional alchemy emerged in I think it was in 2019 or 2018. I received essentially call it a download, and it was clarity on I needed to find a way to. So essentially, I had a method for expressing emotions anew, where we wouldn't be repeating cycles anymore. So if you can think of all of this, it's all the layers of leaving the matrix. So it clarified how negative emotions are unreal. They're just messages of where you're not expressing tones that have to express now. So negative emotions in and of themselves are unreal, so that if you actually stay in them, if you process the negative emotion as though it's real. So to give you an example, say somebody betrays you and you're hurt, and so you gotta try to come to peace, you try to forgive, you talk about it, you whatever. And if you're making that betrayal real, you're in the matrix. You're
That's
just
3D. That's very
going
3D.
round and round and round. Exactly. So if you recognize that betrayal and all of those emotions are actually taking you right to the core of the inner child that you've suppressed, but really any part of you suppressed from the point of view of the eternal self, the eternal the feminine, is really that part of you has stayed in a place of profound magic. It's been untainted. It hasn't expressed in outer reality that was over polarized and masculine. So it's pure. It holds it holds the pure magic that is your essence. So when you approach negative emotions as clues to what is it that I need to express now that will create an environment around me that will allow this inner child essence to start expressing so that I can express my magic.
It's the subconscious mind, if you will.
It,
And
it,
sometimes, yes.
it is, but making the subconscious conscious is about claiming your magical essence.
I love this because then you can say again, it's the knowable, the known, the unknown, and the unknowable. Again, you can put them together. The
Right.
unconscious, subconscious,
Right.
and I love that. Yes, the
Right. And
connection.
as a bridge, we actually live from all of it at once, but in a conscious way. In a conscious way in terms of we start to activate all of the brainwave states all at once because the subconscious is actually a brainwave state, right? The unconscious or the unknown, unknowable. So now we're actually learning to presence those places, but to presence those places translates into you're starting to generate much more of the deeper brainwave activity. And
That's the creator. That's where the creator force is, where the inner child, right?
Yes, well, it's the inner gut child. I see it more as a gateway to that, and the creator force, if you will, or the place where everything is reset, regenerated, all resources are pooled, all knowing, all of that comes up through the eight extraordinaries, is the place of the inner babe, which is actually the roots of the inner child. It's like a part of us that is just all sponge, wide open, omnisensory. So if you get taste, I mean, if you look at an infant, it get tastes with its whole body, and it just takes in. It's only a yes. It takes it in. It takes whatever's in there.
I have to ask you here again. Sorry to interrupt, but you're saying taste. Now you're bringing another level of the four in again. You know,
Sorry.
so is that to do the connecting with the inner child? Is the taste of the senses?
No. I use get taste as yeah. It could see flows of color, and
Okay.
and as it sees the color, it actually tastes it, or it hears the color. It yeah. So if it hears harshness, then it cries. Its whole being is upset, and it's because it sees the distortions of what it hears. So it's an omni-sensory level.
Oh, okay.
And in omni-sensory perception, we're in wholeness. We're not separating anything out. We're not interpreting. So we're actually in innocence and wholeness. And that is the place of creational power, if you will.
So Anita has mastered the deeper powers of the three centers alignment, like she was saying before, from the gut, the heart, and the sight part of it, and the meridian system, the inner family of the psyche of evolved consciousness, the five elements, DNA activation program, the ascension attitudes, embodying in the fluid geometry of wholeness through the metaphysics of the magical bird clock of infinite intent and more. Tell us about it. You want?
Well,
Expand?
all of this is Almeen's vast body of work. I mean, her work is just unparalleled.
Okay, oh my
And
gosh, I'm sorry. I would love to bring her here to talk about it. I'd like to talk about more about you and what you
okay,
offer. Sorry
okay,
about
sure.
that.
So no, it's fine. But my work essentially has been from an immersion in her work. I've been able to actually map out the exact how to evolve the body so that you're operating eventually as a high alchemist. And for example, the five elements, they're actually substance. They're a substance, their tone, their perspective, so that when you live in life with the five perspectives or the five attitudes, yeah, when you're aware of the five portals of the elements in how you live life, you start to sing a song in the pentatonic scale, the scale of five. And that scale in music, when you make music out of the pentatonic scale, it's always in harmony, always. You can't produce anything that is not harmonious. So when you operate out of the five elements, you're actually harmonious to all of creation. When you're harmonious to the purpose and intent of creation, the universe takes your song and it becomes woven into cosmic intent. And that's how you manifest your dreams easily, because it's not you having to do the hard work. You're not pushing against the river. You're actually flowing with it and harmonizing with it, and it's taking up your harmonies and it's making it happen. But it isn't only happening in your life, it's then happening for all life. So that's a huge power of the five elements. And the five elements as well is a bridge between the 12 and the 8. You look perplexed. Am I?
I'm thinking about finding your inner voice first. Is it that you have to do that before you can tap into that fifth element?
There's no. Well, yes, yes. So finding your voice first is the emotional alchemy. You absolutely have to get disengaged from the negative emotions and from thinking that anything negative ever happened to you, because once you reinterpret and you see that it's once you reclaim what you haven't expressed, that was actually held in safety, if you will, in the place of magic. Once you reclaim it, the stories fall away. They're not important.
Everything is
So
just so connected. It's
so
wow. Yeah.
sorry.
everything is just so connected that you're saying. I'm able to connect everything that you're saying, and it has its various levels of it too. I'm noticing.
Right, right, and here's where the whole body of teachings, you can actually start anywhere. You can start anywhere, and it will lead you to rippling out more and more. So it isn't a linear thing. So anybody can start from whatever they're inspired to.
And
But
so that's the key, inspiration.
yes, that having just said though, if a person is still in stories and negative emotions, I would start there. Start with the emotional alchemy and really understanding how to reinterpret everything, because as long as you're in negative emotions and stories, you've left parts of you strewn about time and space in the past. So you want to bring everything in to the present moment of wholeness, because then you're expressing out of wholeness. And your voice from wholeness creates the real. Whereas your voice from unwholeness creates illusion.
Yeah, and every word that has a meaning to it. And it just kind of the way people use their words and put them together, and then you hear it, and it's like so twisted and distorted, and it's like, oh, what do we do about this? Like, people always, no, there's another side to it, obviously, but these are the many fractal versions of our reality.
Right, in speaking, because we actually speak in to being, and we speak our voice actually is the most powerful healing device that we have. So if we're speaking with hidden agenda, manipulation, or with confused words, we're actually harming ourselves. Whereas once we're speaking from clarity and no agenda and from inspiration, we actually heal ourselves. We speak ourselves back to wholeness.
And we have to do this on a singular sovereign light level, that it can reach out and ripple out to the rest of the consciousness. Otherwise, when you look at it from the outside, to ripple in, oh, it's just like overwhelming. How can it even be done that way? I just noticed that, right?
What I mean, with addressing issues on the outside.
Oh yeah, like
Okay,
the
yeah.
world is like too far gone to
Right.
even
Yeah.
notice. We have to wake up from within on a sovereign light level, that
Yes.
part, that individuated part from the rest of the consciousness, and do it that way. Otherwise, how else can it be done? I noticed that, how many groups, like how the globally, it can't be done like that. People form tribes and think that they can do it that way,
Oh,
and
I know. Yeah.
it just
And
has an
and
opposite effect, I notice.
exactly. Because what you're seeing out there are mirrors of opposition. They're uh, mirrors that, as you use the term, they invert, right? They yeah. So mirrors of opposition. If you're trying to change it out there, I use the analogy of, it's the same thing as you standing in front of a mirror and putting lipstick on the image in the mirror. You have to put it on. you have to do it here, because that's the image out there.
Oh, we
But
get really creative and imaginative right away. My solution oriented mind goes to, well, I'll just kiss the mirror.
well, that's actually a first step in having it invert. When you realize it can't harm you, and you actually appreciate how it's served. When you can appreciate the dream of separation, that's when you can start exiting.
And so now people can find this on www.adventuresinboundlessness.com. And this is your website, is that correct?
That's a monthly membership platform. I got to do a blog there, and actually from the group there, I could teach kind of deeper dive programs on the bird clock and various other things. And yeah, what is opening up now is it's mind bending. It really is.
That sounds very interesting, the bird clock, and I would like to know more about it as well. Because you also have a Facebook group that I believe I'm a part of, but after I join, then I don't get any notices anymore, and I don't know what's going on anymore.
Yeah, I got kind of moved away from Facebook.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah. So I may have to close the group, and I haven't. Essentially, I don't like social media. Yeah,
That's marketing. It's business. You have to get
well, it's
somewhere.
not that don't like business. That's
Mhm.
not it. It's more all of the noise there. I don't like the noise, and it tires me. But yeah, I'll just say one thing that what I am planning
Yes.
to do, because my websites are sort of here and there, and you kind of have to know what you're looking for. So I also have the Academy of Fragrance Alchemy, and
That's
yeah,
another deep love of yours for the chemical healing fragrance oils blended by the seer. And
yeah,
so, they are unparalleled in their potency, ability to clear out the unreal and take us back to realness. And that's www.academy of Frag
alchemy.
alchemy of fragrance alchemy.
Oh, okay, sorry, it's the Academy of Fragrance Alchemy.com. So it's yeah, yeah, it's like a mouthful, but
Okay, and this is something that goes into high alchemy and fluid regeneration. And would you be able to let us know about fragrance alchemy? Because I know you talked about the eight clearing of the inner babe and inner child and all these
the
levels.
inner family, the psyche, and so yeah, yeah. Well,
How does
fragrance.
that work? How does that work with the clearing of the meridians? And does that, what level do you have to be? And can you explain? So for a novice, where do they begin with the fragrances?
Okay, well, so first, fragrance alchemy. They're they are alchemically enhanced oils. So the seer that does her alchemy on these oils, but they operate on all levels. Scent scent is the highest alchemy on the planet, and it's because the sense of smell has never fallen into separation. So with scent, you can evoke a a state of oneness instantly. It bypasses your mind and all of that. So you with scent you can't edit things out. So it's like a backdoor way of turning to wholeness. So the oils have levels of activation. So they will work with everybody, no matter level of evolution they're at. So the oils all have infinite activating capacity, if you will. So for a person starting out, I I would say, what are you inspired to? If you're wanting to speak out more or have the courage to express, there's an oil, the eternal song. If you're in a lot of uh, negative emotions, then you would do the 12 ordinaries, that kit of the 12 oils that clears the 12 ordinary channels of all of the 4 levels of distorted emotions. So it really is a matter of what you feel to start with. If you're wanting to immerse in 3 centers alignment, there's actually an oil before that called Flight of the Falcon. So it really is what you want to clear EMF interference. There's an oil, Sacred Space. So there's all kinds to heal your inner child. There's actually an inner child oil, and so on. It goes on, and yeah, and I'm quite willing to answer emails to help people find what is best for them.
Well, it's very important that they get some kind of guidance or some kind of coaching, because I find that if you really don't know what you're doing and you do too much of it and you start bathing in these oils like I was doing, your lymphatic system starts to clog up, and then you start getting swelling like in your feet and things like that. So you really got to pay attention to your organs, like your kidneys and your lymphatic system and all your other systems, and see where exactly you're able to, how much you can accept of these oils too. I love them. I mean, they can take you right out of addiction from anything you have, right? I know I started on these oils and back in 2014, and I stopped smoking them. So it
Right.
really got me out of all,
Yeah.
so yes. So how can we, when we notice that in fact it is the lymphatic system that's being clogged, how do we deal with that?
Well, you would use things to flush it out. So yeah, you would get pace it then. So r- rather than lather on the oils, just use it sparingly and understanding that there's a process of clearing, right? So you might use it sparingly, and then include sound elixirs that will work with the clearing, and yeah, just honoring how your body is
And
needing to be flush it out, right?
I know from experience, you're really good at doing this, putting it together with the sound elixirs. Oh my gosh, that was so moving. This was back in, I think, 2014. I think you had something there with the
Okay.
meridians. You had,
Yeah.
yeah. So I don't know if you have packages like that, because they're just
Yeah.
profoundly moving.
Yeah. Yeah, I do. Yeah. Yeah. There's lots of, yeah, and I find that the fragrance alchemy is a real enhancement when you're doing the other work as well, because then it keeps you in pace with the shifts that you're making.
I was being warned too by Ronnie. He said, you really don't want to use this on your mother. She's almost like on her deathbed. And her kidneys
Mm,
gave out. But I think I was using not Nefertiti, but of the Nile, Queen of the Nile or
Queen of the
something to
Nile. Yeah.
clear. But then every time I kept clearing her and helping her, the medical system kept dumping phenol or whatever that, all those other
Fentanyl. Mm.
fentanyl and all those other drugs. And really, when you clear your system, then it gets like you just dusted your apartment, and then or your balcony, and then a whole bunch of dirt, someone just dumped it right on you again. So it's very important to somehow protect yourself from that. How do you
Hmm.
do that?
Well, you use it as part of a whole change approach. Yeah.
Yeah, because once you clean something, then it just kind of, wow, there it is again, right? It just cleaned. What happened, right? So, oh, it's the dust mites that are doing this. There's got to be something else underlying, but yeah, they just kept feeding her more and more, and it started going. She was approaching that transition stage, and I wanted her to have a clear transition. So it was her choice to go, but it was really tough on me because I thought, did I just kill my mother because I used all these fragrance oils all over? And it's just really hard to get over that. And so I kind of stopped for a while because I didn't probably know what I was doing with them. So I just kind of, yes.
Or you could just brought up your issues with guilt that needed to clear.
And yeah, so how can people find your packages on these fragrance alchemy, and the music side of it, and the way you talk through it,
Well,
meditation?
I I would say go to the website, the Academy of Fragrance Alchemy, and poke around in the shop and read some of the blogs and so on. And if you're finding it overwhelming, then send me an email and tell me what you're looking for or the issues that you're working with, and I'll suggest a best way to start.
And
There's also I also offer with a colleague. That's the website Whole Being Flourishing,
exactly
and
what I'm looking at now,
okay,
www.wholebeingflourishing.com. Yes, go ahead.
yeah, and that's a weekly. Well, it's a monthly membership, but it's a weekly.
Healing sessions.
Yeah, yeah. So you get remote healing, and you're actually held in an entrainment field all week. So it helps you to stabilize, to kind of be in a well in an entrainment field of sacred space, as yeah. So you have that all week, and then every guest Sunday evening, we do a healing session on the group, and the members receive a page of materials and audios to go work with, music elixirs and so on, and rune spreads, and yeah. So it's kind of a gentle way to stay with a broad range of themes. So you get a taste of a lot of things: the emotional alchemy, the three guest centers alignment, um, inspirations, and so on.
They're also Egyptian oils that take you back to the days of how they used to embalm people. That's what it would do, those oils. But that's what it reminded me of. The
What?
fragrance.
Oh, the fragrance alchemy.
Yes, and so it's something that is transformational in a way. It's a metaphysical, alchemical. Yes, that's what these fragrances. You'll never find them anywhere else. Not those
Right.
plant-based ones that other people do. These are actually from Egyptian hieroglyphs and all these things, right?
Well, there are Egyptian oils, but the fragrance alchemy has really evolved, and yeah, they've evolved with what has been happening on the planet essentially, and yeah, find them remarkable,
So it just kind of
miraculous.
it transcends with the frequency and with Earth's frequency. But this again, I'm bringing up here that just like holistic medicine doesn't go with the, the traditional medicine of medical practices that they use synthetic. Uh, these things actually bring from the inside the chemicals from your organs, from
Mm-hmm.
the various chakras and all the connections we have to our meridian points. Of our energy field. It's not a synthetic external version that's artificially made by man. And if you are already in that gene modification process that is happening now, it might even have an opposite effect. Um, you gotta choose. This is where the splitting of the worlds happen. You're either biological workings of an angel god creator, angel god being, and that's what you're going, or you're going in the other direction as artificial intelligent being. So, and there's a level from there. You cannot go beyond the four splits, like you're saying, and there's a higher four and a lower four. And this is where the artificial cannot reach that higher level. So
Right. And yeah, to actually get, yeah, if I had to say what my work is, it's actually to slip out of the matrix and become unhackable. You're you're actually outside of it, and the unreal, the artificial actually falls away. It's not in your reality anymore. And at some point, if it's not in your reality, then yeah, it for you it's not there. And and that that essentially is what the good work is about, because you choose your reality through your vibrational state.
that's your heart.
Well, it's the harmony of your
Both.
whole being. Yeah,
Oh yes,
yeah,
that's true. That's true.
yes.
Yes.
But the heart is the emanator of the field of the eternal. So yeah, it's a major center.
And like the fifth dimensional reality, to transcend from that lower fourth is what I was thinking, because there is a higher heart connection there.
Right,
Yes, it is. It's very connected to everything. Yes,
right.
absolutely correct. And notice, I mean, even the heart has four chambers. But yes, that's
Right,
another
yeah.
topic. We can all go into all these science and facts and biology, because you're also very, very, very educated, and I didn't even go into that to explain, like, so I would love to have another conversation with you, because this is just so amazing, and we can, go into other things and even dive deeper into all these topics. So you're also welcome, new practitioner Anita Briggs, into the lifestyles. When was this? Is this something new as well? Lifestyles.
No, that was like a long time ago.
And selfgrowth.com, is that also something that's
No, that's from years years ago. Yeah. No, no. My current work essentially is happening on all of these websites and in my programs. And right now, teaching a stream. It started out as the bird clock, because the bird clock is a tool that maps out infinite intent, and it maps your body to the whole cosmos. I mean, it's out of this world, but that evolved in to the bird clock veil process where you're learning to be the emanator of a new time space, and then that actually added, or it revealed the new Merkaba of the Holy Masters. So now I'm teaching that. I'm teaching that now, and the next program is going to be on secreting the higher hormones. That I started out my search in 2004. I'm finally there.
So
That
this is
I know how.
a new rose quartz veil process to master the time tunnel, which we use the bird clock for, and a new Merkaba of the Holy Masters that has activated a current program that you're talking about
Yeah.
by opening up and so on, that we can allow, how much we can allow, and how much is our soul hungering for. That we can allow the curiosity of the child.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. So essentially, my work is on the websites. It's accessible there. I do private sessions for whoever wants to start in the work. But my live programs currently are pretty deep dives. So it's got kind of a group that has been following me through for years.
Oh,
And
so it's not like something you have to feel a person out and see where they're at, depending on what training to offer them. Uh,
well, if well, that's where the private s- sessions come in. We work with wherever a person is, and then yeah, and I give them audios to go work with between sessions, and then from there I could suggest a self study program or fragrance alchemy oils or whatever. But what I was going to say earlier is I'm creating with a colleague a new website, the Academy of Alchemy. So that will be a hub into all of the work.
that'd be
And
awesome.
and it will actually lay out, if you're just starting, here's an idea on how to start, and it will link in all of the things that are being offered. Yeah, so that will make it easier to access the work. And why we're doing that is because of the awakening on the planet. People are eager. They're eager for truth. They're eager for something real. And when they hear it, they say, I knew it. I can feel it in me, right? So it really isn't, the work isn't about teaching anything new. It's about clearing the overlays of lies, the cobwebs. It's clearing all of the programs, and then what emerges is you as a co-creator being, and that really is what the work is about. So
When you say co-creating, you're not saying a creator God being. Who are you co-creating with?
with yourself.
Oh, okay. Because I'm thinking about creator God being, angel God being. The reason why we say angel God is because it deals with the law of attraction, the electromagnetic. And once you're out of that world into the world of oneness, the one, then you become the creator God being that you can actually influence. And just like the AI system that you're talking about, make it work for you so you can help others.
Well, yeah, but it's more as the creator. You operate in the material reality. You operate as the cause. You operate out of a field of intent, inspiration, vision. So you're all of that, but you have a part of you that is expressing as an individuated being.
A sovereign light being.
Yeah, and that has a value as well, even if it doesn't have a fixed identity or role. It's still a something that is expressing in more in outer, kind of like an interface with the material that now isn't static. It's actually holy matter. It's alive, aware matter. So you're actually interacting with yourself in matter, so that everything is you.
So we're plasma in a plasma field. Is that? Yeah.
That's one way of looking at it, and so
Right.
that you could actually play the game and enjoy it, there has to be levels of interaction, right?
Yes. Yes.
So there's
Okay.
me like this, and I'm expressing,
Okay.
and yeah, and there's value in it, and I'm expressing as the creator for all of creation. However, there's value in me expressing at this level because it supports others, right? There's value in others expressing at their level. So you're not self-aware all at once. You're not self-aware of your unfathomable self all at once, because if you were, it would end the game.
So we have these boundaries when we focus right away. There becomes a boundary because we're
Well,
focused
not
on.
a boundary, but a fluid container.
Okay. So there you have it. Like you just cleared and untwisted that meaning of co-creating because it's been kind of trickled down and distorted into that business kind of that economy, kind of the business that has been tainted into that world that we have to clear. Because every word that they have meanings and they've been all distorted, and co-creating is one of those words that you just helped me clear. Thank you.
Okay. Oh, good.
And you can also find, I think we can find you on LinkedIn, is that right? .com/in/Anita
Yeah,
Briggs.
I'm not active on there either. I'm not active on any social media. So the
Okay.
best way is through email and explore the websites.
Okay. So I think we went well over an hour because everything you have to say is just so fascinating. So I didn't want to interrupt
Oh,
it.
well, I'm glad to hear that.
Yes, I'd love to have you on again. So maybe I could do some more interacting with you and ask you some more
Okay,
things. Didn't want
sure.
to take up too much of your time here. In any event, is there anything you would like in closing to let us know for this first season?
No, other than to say that if you're feeling like you're needing to find footing, or you're wanting deeply to feel the real, then know that calling in you is very real. It's you're on the pulse of cosmic evolution. You're hearing it, so follow it.
Beautiful. So is that like you know what? I didn't use any of your favorite quotes because I think you said something to me that those are no longer your favorite quotes. So
Yeah, no, no, I don't. Yeah,
I would take this what you just said in closing as your favorite quote if that's all right with you. Just reminded me, right? Hmm. Yes. So thank you
okay.
so very much.
Well, thank you. I've enjoyed our talk, and it was nice to see you again after what, 8 years, 2014.
Right, right. Okay, thank you. And it's been an honor and a real pleasure to have you here. Thank you so
Oh,
very
thank
much.
you, thank you. Okay, bye.
Bye bye.